Welcome to another trip down the Bourbon Road with your hosts, Jim and Mike. So grab a glass of your favorite bourbon and kick back.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Shannon.
And I'm Mike Hyatt.
This is the Bourbon Road. And today, Mike, we're doing another Craft Distillery Monday, our first of 2022.
That's weird to say.
2022 is here. And I'm trying to imagine it without COVID.
I'd like to say yeah, but it's with us, Jim.
You know, I need to get past this.
Like
I really need to get by it.
Bad dream.
It's a bad dream. It's like, you remember the movie Groundhog Day?
Yeah.
You know, every morning he woke up and it was the same day over and over again. It just kept repeating over and over. He tried to make it better, but no matter what he did, it kept getting screwed up before the end of the day, and he'd wake up and try again. Eventually, by the end of the show, he got it. But I'm kind of feeling like Groundhog Day with this COVID stuff.
Maybe it will be a better 2022. It'll be a better year for us, and people won't have to worry about COVID so much.
Yeah, it's put a lot of stress on the nation, and bourbon has done its best to relieve that stress. But, you know, there's only so much bourbon can do.
Well, it's doing a pretty damn good job for me. I haven't got COVID yet, and neither have you. So
yeah, I managed to avoid it so far. I did get a little bit of a cough in the last couple of weeks, but you know, I've done everything I can do to stay away from the mess. But you know, if it eventually gets to me, I guess it will.
Well, let's get to this whiskey, Jim. Let's tell everybody this bourbon has eluded us. It has, for some reason, we just haven't drank it yet. On the show, we've got sample bottles of it.
Yeah.
And I think we did drink some of this with Randy one time. We drank some samples of this because we had a whole bunch of sample bottles. But we're going to give this a review, and we're talking about Smoke Wagon. Some really beautiful bottles.
Yeah. About time it made it to the show.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, this is the Smoke Wagon small batch straight bourbon whiskey. Everybody knows this is MGP. There's no doubt on it. I just wanted to make sure it said distilled in Indiana, which it says that. So we do know that it is MGP juice, right?
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Sometimes it's looked at as a negative thing. It's sort of an indication that a whiskey company is not making their own liquid. But I think we're beyond that, folks. I think we've gotten past that, right? I mean, we're to the point now where there are a large number of distilleries that are contracting and sourcing liquids for their bottles. And now some of them are preparing to build out their own distilleries to make their own juice. And some of them will never build out their own distilleries and make their own juice. They're just going to blend and bottle, which is fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
At the end of the day, it's all about when you pour it in your glass, what you think about it.
That's what does matter. You could have the most beautiful bottle, and this is a stunning bottle.
It does. And you and I were talking earlier how this reminded me a little bit of the Bibb and Tucker bottle.
Not shape-wise, but that dark and
the dark with the filigree.
With a raised glass, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is sagebrush on here. I'm not positive. Somebody wants to tell us exactly what that is. Now it has their kind of their challenge coin or their seal with two crossed revolvers on it. I really, really like this bottle.
I mean, the bottle itself tells a story, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When you think of high desert whiskey, you think of the Old West Smoke Wagon. This is what I think of. Now, the mash bill on this is 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley. Coming in at 100 proof. I picked this bottle up for $54 at Total Wine. MSRP on it, I think, is around $50 right now. I was happy to get this, and I told you how I got this bottle, right? I walked in there, and Chad from the Bourbon Live, he writes their reviews of what he works for Total Wine. He was over in Louisville working, so I went in there, and Chad was working. He recognized me, and so I went and I was in there buying a bottle of wine for your wife, actually.
Mm-hmm.
which is a rare bottle to find. Everybody was like, where did I get that bottle? And I was like, it's the last bottle of this. But I get over in the bourbon aisle and I picked up a bottle of this and somebody was like, is it good? And I was like, well, if I'm picking it up, it's probably worth picking up. Said, hey, I got a bourbon podcast. And we start talking. Next thing you know, I'm in there giving recommendations to everybody in there, and they're selling whiskey by the case.
And you're not getting any commissions for that.
No, and I was really in a hurry because I was trying to buy my wife a gift. And I stopped at a store near there, and they said, well, a store like 15, 20 miles away has it what you want. You're going to have to get over there before you run out. And I'm in Total Wine, buying your wife a bottle of wine. And I was running out of time. I was like, I am really running out of time. I'm in a time limit right now because I had to be back home to actually go hunting that night. And it just didn't happen. I spent too much time at Total Wine. But we ended up with a bottle of this Smoke Wagon small batch.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, Mike. Let's not talk too much. Let's get into the whiskey a little bit. What do you say?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. Not a lot of sweetness on that.
There's a little bit, I think, for me, a little bit of spice.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of spice. This is more of a savory whiskey for me.
That would be, to me, that spice would be like a light pepper, maybe a white pepper.
No, I'd say it's like a dark jam. I mentioned before, like a rum cake. It's kind of like a rum cake a little bit, savory, but at the same time, it's kind of like a rum cake with some darker fruits. Like I'm not gonna say darker fruits is not the right thing because I'm gonna say apple butter, kind of apple butter.
I'm getting a little bit of vanilla bean on this. I mean, most people would say vanilla, but if you ever got a vanilla bean and you took a knife and scraped it and smelt that, it's so pure.
Yeah.
It's just got this super nice aroma to it.
It's got a great nose to it. It's not overpowering with ethanol. It's what'd you say the proof was? 100 proof?
100 proof.
Yeah. It I think it's right for this. Exactly.
It's got that little bit of tinge, I think, you'd get, but not overpowering. It's got that spice to it. Like I said, that white pepper spice.
I'm not ever going to say stewed fruit again to you because every time I say stewed fruit, you come after me. So
stewed tomatoes. Every time I go into tomato aisle now, I say stewed fruit because tomato is a fruit, right?
Yeah.
Then you say stewed prunes, and I'm like, who eats stewed prunes?
But this one's more apple butter. I think this one. It's not light. I don't think this is light. I don't think it's. I think it's more dark. But not super sweet for me. A little more savory. But yeah, I've got this picture in my mind of what a smoke wagon ought to be. But yeah, it's not there. It's just, but it's got a lot more body to it than I expected for 100 proof.
Well, heck, I say cheers. Let's taste this thing, Jim.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it's spot on for the nose. It didn't surprise me with something different than I smelled.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. Almost like it's almost, to me, it's so sweet. It's like a date.
Okay, so I'll go with that. I'll say it's one of those sweetnesses that's kind of, the sweetness is masked by the darkness of the fruit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That stewed fruit.
Well, I don't know about stewed now. I'm talking about a dried date. You get those dried dates, or even so much as a turkey fig.
A turkey fig.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this one for me is a little bit more. This is not a super sweet whiskey, but it's got that sweetness that is sort of buried in the fruitiness of it. I like it a lot. It's kind of that rum cake,
yeah,
where the fruits are kind of in the rum cake, but you don't really get the fruit. You get the rum and the darkness of the.
When you get a rum cake too, you get that spicy cooking spices in it, right?
Yeah.
Some cinnamon. And this thing is nice and viscous for 100 proof.
Yeah.
This is really showing out. I'm quite shocked by this.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. This kind of reminds me of a bourbon version of Midwinter Night's Dram, kind of, in a way.
Very, very nice. To be fair, we drank some really nice bourbons before this show started. So we're both feeling really good. Not a whole lot of bourbons, but we drank a really, really good bourbon. But this is shocking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say this. The next time I'm at Total Wine, I'll be looking for this bottle on the shelf. This is just their standard offering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for $50.
Yeah.
How can you beat this?
Pretty beautiful bottle. I'm running out of, so on my bar, I've got a 2-tier shelf. I've got 3 shelves on my bar, and each one is 2 tiers. So there's a back row and a front rear row on each shelf. The back row takes a shorter bottle, and the front row takes the full height bottle, like
this right here.
Like this one right here, or a B-Tac or whatever. I'm running out of front row space is my problem. So I have to find something to go under the bar.
Jim, I'm just sitting here in awe on this thing. This thing is so complex for 100 proof bourbon. You keep going back to that rum cake. I'm thinking like a really, really, really good oatmeal raisin cookie.
Yeah.
That's got lots of raisins in it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even a ginger snap cookie. With that, how ginger snaps will have that little bit of spice to it.
Yeah, I like I'm getting a little bit of that burnt aspect of the ginger snap cookie, where you maybe leave in the oven just 2 minutes too long.
That's the perfect frat there for me. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that how you like cookies?
Yeah, I kind of do.
I don't like gooey cookies that are just crumbly.
Yeah.
I want that sucker crisp. And when I drink it with my milk, it'll just dissolve in my mouth.
Well, I hope these notes we're giving folks ring home with them, right? I mean, because these are not bourbon notes, right?
These are grown man notes. These are truly us and what we like to eat and just have a good time with.
It's like painting a picture with your words, right?
We're
hoping we're painting that picture for you.
Even this has some creaminess to it. It's so viscous. I'm just in shock. And I can see if you haven't checked out Smoke Wagon on Instagram or on Facebook, Aaron he's quite the character.
Well, I think we definitely need to take Smoke Wagon to the next level on the Bourbon Road, right? I think we need to have them on. We need to explore a little bit further. We'll schedule that in 2022.
Some people say this was a drying whiskey. I had to get nothing.
It's a little drying.
You think so?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think it is. Dry is the opposite of sweet. And I've been saying all along, this is not a real sweet whiskey for me. There's some sweetness there, but it's kind of subdued by the fact that it's like laying below that darker fruit.
Man, this is such a good. I'm so happy I bought this. I was kind of scared about this bottle. I was like, I hope this is not going to be a letdown for me, but for $50, this is a good buy.
Yeah.
I'd say the finish on this is a medium to long, lingering to that long because it is just so viscous and stuff.
Yeah. I find myself having to bring my glass back to my mouth over and over again. So that tells me that it's not hanging around long enough to let me just sit there with it. So medium to long. Yeah, you're right on that. I think you hit it on the nose.
The hug on this ain't overpowering me.
Not at all.
Super beautiful hug on it though. Oh, that rye spice is just playing right in. Yeah, man, this is a buy all day long. I'm with you. If I can go back and find another bottle, I'm gonna get it.
What do you know about Smoke Wagon?
It's from Las Vegas. And it's MGP.
Okay, so this is a Las Vegas distillery that is sourcing the whiskey from MGP.
Mm-hmm.
Their brand is Smoke Wagon, which so talk a little bit about the brand.
Nevada H&C Distilling Company is a real name. Smoke Wagon. Aaron is one of the founders, owners. Jonathan is the other founder. Aaron always wears that cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He's
Seen him
just-
many times. He's a character.
Yeah, doing great giveaways all the time and stuff. Super promoter of their whiskey. Do they need podcasts? Do they need other stuff? They really don't. Hey, they've got it going on.
Yeah.
They just hit Kentucky. All their bottles are beautiful. Their bottles are coveted out there. As a matter of fact, when I bought this bottle, there were 11 bottles left on the shelf, and they all sold like right then.
Well, because you picked it up.
Yeah, and that's true because I was picking up other things, or they said, "What else would you pick up?" And I started naming off bourbons that I saw right there that I love, and I said, "Hey, that Horse Soldier right there." I said, "If there's any Iron Root in the store at all, pick it up." Obviously, Maker's Mark Feo too, which we named our bourbon of the year. I said, people grab that right now, and they sold more of that. I think they sold like 10 cases right then and there.
Wow. Yeah, I mean they should pay commissions. I'm just going to say that. Like, you should,
I'm the car salesman.
every
of
time
bourbon.
you go to Total Wine, they should be like throwing out the red carpet.
Even if me or you walk into a bourbon store like James at Paradise Spirits and Wine and stuff, you've seen it firsthand. Whenever I start talking to somebody about bourbon,
it's over with. They just need to get a cart and follow you around.
Yeah, I love talking about bourbon. I love talking about whiskey, and I could talk about this one right here all day long. What about for you? What's your overall thought on it?
Yeah, it's a buy for me. So I'm going to definitely look for it on the shelf. I was just at Total Wine, by the way. So we exchanged Christmas gifts this year.
Yep.
Mike, you outdid yourself. You got me a 1984?
I think it's a 1980.
1980 Wild Turkey 8-year 101 decanter.
Yeah.
And man, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's the centerpiece on my bar now. And to beat that, it's full of liquid.
It's missing a little bit, and I would assume it's safe to drink. There's probably some cork down in there, so we might have to run it through a coffee filter.
We're going to decant it and we're going to drink it together.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But the decanter itself will always have a place in my bar. It's beautiful.
I just wanted you to have something like that. I know you didn't have a decanter like that. I knew you didn't have anything that old right now. So to me, it just kind of fell in my lap. I was in a liquor store in Paradise Spirits and Wine, and I walked in there, and the guy was like, "Hey, aren't you that bourbon guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me, man." And I want to get in and out of the store quickly sometimes.
Yeah.
It's that regular guy shopping, right? I know what I'm going in there for. I know what I'm getting. I'm going to walk in there, get it, and get out. But when I go in a liquor store, that doesn't always happen. If somebody recognizes me, it definitely doesn't happen. And he had found 65 decanters at a garage sale for $200.
Wow.
So with our contacts, I reached out to some people and said, "Hey, this guy needs to get rid of these. I don't want him to get ripped off." And I said, "The only deal is I would like to buy that from you." We set a price, and I felt.
Yeah, you didn't contact Dusty Dan, did you?
I did.
He's kind of the know-it-all when it comes to that, isn't he?
I contacted him, and I contacted Adam Boothby because Adam is a great person for secondary market. And I wanted to kind of know, pick some people's brains. And I had a good idea of what I should pay for it, but I really didn't know on an unopened bottle or almost full. And to me, it was more about the canner, and you're such a nut about 101.
Yeah.
And Wild Turkey. I was like this, and it's a super beautiful decanter. But no, I don't think I outdid you. You got me 18-year-old Singleton Scotch whiskey. And some people are probably jaw just dropped, right? But Singleton is kind of part of us.
Yeah.
It's a nautical thing. And if you don't know who Singleton is, go out there and check him out. He was a man amongst men, right?
Absolutely. The funny thing is, you talk about how you go into the bourbon aisle and everybody recognizes you and they want you to help them pick out whiskeys. In this case, I was trying to pick out a Scotch for you. And why did I choose a Scotch for Mike? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? One is we've had 4 or 5 single malts on the show this year. And in every case, you've said, wow, that's delicious. I love that. So I'm thinking Mike's really liking these single malt whiskeys. The other reason is, man, you don't need another bottle of bourbon, right? I mean, you don't need it. You want it, but you don't necessarily need it. Yeah. So I thought, if I want to get him a Christmas present, I'm going to get him something that's something he's not going to go out and buy for himself.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go out and buy for myself. And I drink scotch as a really, really young man. My ex-wife's grandfather lived down in North Carolina. He loved to play golf, and we traveled down to New Bern, North Carolina, and see them. And I remember pulling up there the first time, and they knew we were coming, but he was in his 80s, and he would like to sit out in his garage and drink scotch, smoke a cigar, and he'd live to play golf. So he's out there waiting for me, and he was like, "You drink scotch, young man?" And I was, "No, sir, I don't." And he's like, "Well, you're going to drink scotch at this house." And he's kind of the guy that introduced me to scotch. And kind of got to say thank you to him. He taught me a lot about whiskey at a young age.
Yeah.
That I really wasn't prepared for at that time.
So I was that guy in the scotch aisle that really didn't know a lot about what I was looking at. I mean, I know a little bit about scotches, but not enough to really choose the perfect bottle for my co-host. So all these scotch guys are around me, and I'm like, help me out here, guys. Help me pick a bottle for my co-host, and then we'll go over to the bourbon aisle, and I'll help you out over there. And it worked out pretty good. So we ended up with this one because, if you're picking a scotch for a bourbon drinker, you got to be careful, right?
You better be real careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
You picked the right one. I mean, you drink some Singleton. We got just little samples of it.
Yeah,
this year we drank some other scotch this year that we only got little samples of 18-year-olds. And so it's nice to have a full bottle, and I'm very thankful.
Well, back to the Smoke Wagon. I have to say, Mike, that I'm so glad we had it on the show today. It's definitely a surprise. I'm going to be looking for it on the shelf when I go back to Total Wine again, or when I go back to Liquor Barn. Those are the two places here in our hometown.
Yep.
The big places. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, Jim, where can people find us on social media?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You can find us on TikTok. We actually do have some videos now. You will not ever find us on Discord, and you won't find us on Twitch. We just don't have enough time in our day to do all of that. At least now we don't. Let's wait and see in the future. You will obviously want to check out our private Facebook group called the Bourbon Roadies. We got a lot of friends in that group, a lot of great people. Come in, check us out. Search the Bourbon Roadies on Facebook.com. And when that group comes up, ask to join, you'll get asked a couple of questions. We want to make sure you're 21, that you like bourbon, and that once you get in the group, you're going to play nice, because we do not accept any rudeness from our members, right?
That's correct. I mean, it's all about sharing your whiskey. It's all about camaraderie, lifting others up, celebration of life. And we had that this past year. We had a couple of roadies that passed away, and we celebrated their life in there. We had a couple of roadies that had babies, and we celebrated that. So that's what it's about, is lifting your fellow bourbon drinker up. We love it. If you want to keep listening to us, you want to know about our show, you want to know when we come out with an episode, go hit that subscribe button, that check sign, that check mark at the top of your screen there. That'll make sure that you are subscribed to our podcast and you're getting told, hey, these two guys just came out with their new episode. After that, go ahead and scroll on down, hit that 5-star review, because you know what happens if you don't. We're going to get all serious. I'm going to grab my big friend, the big bad booty daddy of bourbon. We're going to bring this Smoke Wagon over there. Your head will be smoking by the end of the night. You're going to give us that 5-star review. But seriously, really, those 5-star reviews, those comments in there, they help us open doors. They help us give you great content. They get us great guests on, and that's what we love to do.
If you like to listen to the Bourbon Road, like Mike says, there's 2 small things you can do for us, and they don't take a lot of your time. They take just a moment. And if you're listening to us right now, understand how important this is to us. When you subscribe to the Bourbon Road, that bumps us up in stature. That lets other people know that we're desirable. People want to listen to us. When you give us a review, that lets people know exactly what you think about us, good or bad. But it definitely gives a review for us. It lets people know what they think. Both of these things mean so much to us. Even though it takes you just a minute to do it, it means a great thing to us. So we hope you take the time to do it. We also would love to have you reach out to us. You can come on our website, thebourbonroad.com. You can view our swag that we have for sale. We got t-shirts, hats, glasses, things like that. We got articles on there. Every show that we produce, we put an article out about it, a little more detail, some links that you can follow to find out more about the products we review. We also have a contact us page on the website where you can actually just type in a question to us. Mike and I are super accessible. You can reach us on the website through the contact us page. You can reach us through email. I'm Jim at thebourbonroad.com. He's Mike at thebourbonroad.com. But probably the best way, as we always say, is hit up our DMs on Instagram. I'm JShannon63.
I'm Big Bourbon Chief.
And we'll see you down
the Bourbon Road.